Welcome back to DeadBall TV, everybody. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a preview of Mexico's upcoming friendlies against Switzerland and Turkiye. Now, before I get into this, I want to announce right here now that I'm going to be doing a live watch-along, 100% confirmed, for the Switzerland-Mexico game. Mexico-Turkey, that's going to be 50-50. You're just going to have to subscribe and follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Links in the description to know for sure. But at least one of these games will have a live watch-along. Those are always a great time, so don't miss that. Also, much more Gold Cup content dropping soon on the channel. So again, if you want to see all that stuff, Mexican national team videos in English, make sure you're subscribed. Drop a like on the video, and let me know your predictions for these games down below in the comments. We'll start with previewing the Switzerland game, since, you know, that game's coming first, so might as well start here. Not the greatest stretch of form coming into this Mexico friendly for the Swiss. In the Nations League A, so there's 3 tiers to the Nations League A, Nations League B, Nations League C. You can get promoted and relegated. They won 0 of their 6 games in the group, and I know it was sort of a challenging group with Serbia, Denmark, and Spain, who might be the best team in the world right now, but still, not winning any games from 6 was definitely an L for the Swiss, and now they're going to be relegated to Nations League B. I took a look at Switzerland's record against Mexico all time. 5 games played, 5 Swiss victories, 1 draw, 1 Mexican victory. Only one of these games has ever been an official match, and that was the 1950 World Cup where the Swiss beat us 2-1. I wouldn't cite this record too much when drawing predictions here because we have not played Switzerland since 1994. Now, previewing the match, I think Mexico absolutely need to score in this game. Switzerland are not a great defensive team. They have 1 clean sheet in the last 10 games. Even Northern Ireland in Luxembourg have been scoring against these guys recently. You can clown Mexico all you want, even though I think we're somewhat on the comeback. We stomped both of those teams. So if both of those teams can score against the Swiss, one of them being in Switzerland, then a mini objective for this game for Mexico is score. If the Swiss keep a clean sheet against us, I think that's an L. And you'll see as I preview this more and more, I'm much more concerned with like what happens in the game and what the actual scoreline is versus like, did we win or lose? And so yeah, my first mini objective for Mexico is get a goal. I know that Gregor Kobel, the Swiss goalkeeper, pretty solid guy. I would say that he's probably top 15, top 20 in the world, plays for Dortmund. I don't care. We need to score. Now, the Swiss used to play with a back 3, but it seems like they've switched to the back 4 since the Euro, and it's gone horribly wrong for them, right? I just read you their record in the Nations League phase, and they haven't really beaten anybody except Luxembourg recently, but hey, they're going with the back 4 now. This team has very fast, very physical forwards, and they have a lot of wingers who love to progress the ball. If I'm talking about the Swiss wingers versus the Mexican ones, I think the Swiss ones are going to cause a lot more trouble in this match. Briel Mbolo is probably the most recognizable name in the Swiss national team. If you guys played FIFA, you probably remember him being like a wonder kid back in, I don't know, FIFA 18, 17, something like that. Ndoye is another guy who plays in Serie A, and he's a very, very technically gifted forward. I think this is going to be a tough game for Mexico's fullbacks, and I think the Mexican CBs are going to be really pushed for pace here too. In some ways, I think this is the perfect opponent, and even Turkey as well, because none of us exactly have lockdown defenders, yet the most dangerous parts of our teams are the attack. So I expect both of these games to be entertaining at the very least. Last thing I want to say about the match is that Switzerland are 100% a possession-based team. They want the ball, they want to dictate tempo, which I think will benefit Mexico. We'll be able to sit back a little bit and counter against a back line, which I told you the record 1 clean sheet in the last 10, and they're not exactly blessed for pace either. If Ricardo Rodriguez starts this game for Switzerland, he needs to be the weak spot that we go after. Although predicting anything more lineup wise is really difficult because the Swiss rotate all the freaking time, and I don't know who they're going to go with. Now, my prediction for this match, I think there will be goals here, and I think both teams are going to end up scoring. I feel like, and I'm getting intangible and meta here, whatever, I think Mexico's going to try much, much harder in the Swiss game than the Turkey game. And the reason for that is because the Gold Cup is like 10 days away. So I think what Aguirre really wants to see is put out the best 11, whatever that looks like, against the Swiss, do a shift, and then in the game against Turkey, we're going to rotate a little bit. It's going to be a truly B team with maybe 1 or 2 starters in there. Probably Malagon will start both games because you don't need to rotate a goalkeeper, and that's how I expect this to go down. And because of that, I expect the Swiss game to be Mexico's better performance. And for a score prediction, I'm kind of feeling a 2-2 draw. I really do think we're going to see a lot of goals, although if I had to pick a winner, I think it would be Mexico, something like a 2-1. Another mini objective here for Mexico, if we can keep a clean sheet against Switzerland, that's a dub, because this team creates a lot of chances. They aren't particularly clinical, but they're going to create several scares throughout the match. I expect Malagon to be busier than he's ever been as Mexican keeper, and we're going to see. This is going to be a great test for him specifically. And also the Mexican back line, like I already talked about. In the Mexican midfield, I feel like they're going to get ran over by Switzerland, but we're going to kind of allow that by ceding possession and just chilling on the back foot. That's how I expect this match to go. Then we're going to rely on Santi, Raul, Chino, Vega probably to do the damage in the limited opportunities that Mexico will get. I'll be surprised if Mexico finished with more possession here. I think the 2-2 draw is the most likely outcome. Moving on to the Turkiye game, I do think the Turks are going to come in here on better form and on better morale than their Swiss counterparts. They recently just beat Hungary 6-1 on the promotion playoff. Like I said earlier, there's the Nations League A, B, and C. Some teams directly qualify if you finish first. If you finish second, you go to a 2-game qualifier, home and away. That's what Turkiye had to do against Hungary because they finished second behind Wales in Nations League B. I'm saying a lot of information here. Point is, they put the beat down on the Hungarians, and now they're going to be in Nations League A. Like, I'll be honest, there's no way Mexico beats Hungary 6-1 on AG right now in a home and away leg. But that's kind of Turkey in a nutshell, because if you look at them outside of that, they couldn't beat Wales in both of their matchups in Nations League B. And not only could they not beat them, they couldn't score in either match. And granted, they held a clean sheet, but Wales post Gareth Bale aren't exactly shooting up the scoreboard. They're playing like NBA basketball from the 1980s and 70s when everybody just posted up. There's no three-point shooters on the Welsh national team. Looking at the squad that Turkiye called up here, there are most of their big guns present. Arda Güler, Atakoglu, Yilmaz, Yildiz, Kokcu, Kalanoglu. This is going to be tough. Previewing this match is a little bit difficult because it is the second game for both teams. Like, I expect Mexico to go harder against Switzerland. I expect Turkiye to go harder against the U.S. men's national team, and then do the same thing, kind of rotate and maybe go 80% what they normally would have against Mexico, and I think Mexico will match that. Whichever team comes out and tries harder, I think wins this game, but I'm kind of banking on neither team to take it too seriously, and I'm kind of banking on Mexico to rotate quite substantially. That's why it's really hard to drop an accurate prediction at this time. Maybe if I can do a live stream and I see the lineups, and depending on how the first games go, I can give an updated prediction. So again, subscribe for that. I think overall, Turkey will be a bigger challenge for Mexico than Switzerland, because I think Turkey has a much more balanced attack all across the pitch, and at this moment in time, better individual players than what the Swiss have. But very similar to the Swiss, it's not like Turkey are some defensive juggernaut. They've conceded 8 goals in their last 8 games, including losing away to Montenegro 3-1, which, if that doesn't explain the Turkish national team, I don't know what does. There is no national team that goes hotter and colder than Turkey. Double slapping Hungary in the face and then getting touched up by Montenegro, which makes it even harder for me to preview these games accurately, because we don't know what version of Turkey we're going to see. Going back to even before the Euros, their away form is average at best, so I do think Mexico can absolutely win this game. I expect this one to be very tough and physical, more physical than the Swiss game, probably more open than the Swiss game as well. I think the key for Mexico is 2 things. Number 1, limit good chances. Turkey is very good at creating high volume chances. They just don't really have a 9, and they're not a clinical team. So if we can limit them to 1 or 2 good chances, I think there's a better opportunity for Mexico to win. If Turkey are just slicing this up like some shawarma, they're going to win. And I have very similar objectives for the Swiss game that I do here. I would like to see Mexico score at least 1 goal, and I would like us to keep a clean sheet. If we were to fail to do both, then that's a problem. If I had to pick one of these games for us to lose, though, it would be the Turkey match. In recap, I think 2 good draws here is actually a really good window for Mexico. And I don't think if we get 2 points, anybody should be like, oh my God, we're trash. Especially when you look at our record in friendlies against non-CONCACAF teams recently. We haven't exactly been chefing up people. We got absolutely bodied by Uruguay and then lost to Brazil, and we were the worst team against Brazil in that window. Let me see what's next. We drew both Uzbekistan and Australia, conceded 5. That was the biggest concern there. Not that we didn't win, it was that we conceded 5 goals to those teams, especially Australia, who can't really score. And then before that, we had the Germany 2-2 draw, which fooled everybody into thinking Lozano was the second coming of Christ, and we beat the worst Ghana side of all time 2-0. So it's been a while since Mexico took 6 points. If we take 6 points against Turkey and Switzerland, oh, we're winning the Gold Cup 100%. CONCACAF is quaking in their boots. I will personally create and publish Mexican propaganda on my Twitter saying that we are back 100%. That would be a massive, massive statement, and I don't think that should be anybody's realistic expectation. I honestly think that if we split the series, like I kind of think we will, where we think we beat Switzerland, I think we lose to Turkey, that's still a really good window. But if we get 2 draws and they're both 2-2, I'll take it, man. The Swiss are a very good team. They are better at World Cups and Euros. They're kind of like knockout football merchants, right? Whenever it's like a friendly or like a group stage, they kind of aren't as good and as scary as when an actual tournament is going on. In the Turks, like I said, they're just so hot and cold. They can get bodied by Japan and then murder Hungary, and it just kind of, there's no rhyme or reason really to what's happening. If we get a win and a draw here, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 window, and I think we should be going into the Gold Cup with a lot of confidence. 2 losses here on the flip side, 2 bad losses, and let me be clear, that's possible. These 2 teams can absolutely score 5 on us across 2 games. And for Mexico's backline especially, these are massive tests. I'm very excited to see Mexico's attack go forward. I'm a little nervous for the midfield because I just think we're not going to play the right players, and it's the weakest part of the team anyways, and we're gonna get touched up there. And the back line, there's going to be a lot of eyes there. I think we will learn the most about Mexico's defense and Malagon than anything else this window. And yeah, I'm honestly really looking forward to it. I feel like Mexico, we are kind of building back now, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm buying back in. I'm starting to get optimistic again. Will Mexico disappoint me? Maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. 4-point window incoming, baby. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, drop your predictions for these games down below in the comments. I'll be live for Switzerland, maybe live for Turkey. I'll see you guys there. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.